Feel the power.
Oh, I could feel it.
Our moment of triumph approaches. It's
Raw Talk.
Military canine handler dishes on the reel. Hillary Clinton seems to jive well with accounts of Secret Service, other military, and former employees. This is on GraniteRock.com that had up-close and personal encounters with Hildebeest, all cheery and lightness when the cameras are around, and a loathsome person when they aren't. But the little people, who are there to protect and serve, are. Here is the, quote, Eric Bonner, military canine handler who served in Turkey, posted a story about Hillary Clinton on Facebook that quickly went viral. Bonner wrote that he's not voting for Clinton and relayed an experience with the former Secretary of State that led to his decision. One of my last details was for Hillary when she was Secretary of State. She was in Turkey, for whatever reason. I helped with sweeps of her DV quarters and staff vehicles. Her words to me, "Get the effing dog away from me." Then she turns to her security detail and berates them up and down about why the animal was in her quarters. For the next 20 minutes, while I sit there waiting to be released, she lays into her detail, slamming the door in their faces when she's done. The detail lead walks over, apologizes, and releases me. I apologize to him for getting him in trouble. His words, "Happens every day, brother."
Not the first time we've heard that either.
And Bonner concluded, Hillary doesn't care about anyone but Hillary. You're on, aren't you? No, you're not. Oh,
No.
you were still fiddling with your headset.
Okay, that's better. And by the way, one of the best quotes after Bill Clinton's speech a week or so ago to the Democrat National Convention was, this is one time when I would have believed him if he'd said, "I did not have sex with that woman." Because she is a loathsome creature.
Anyway, Skip's point was that everybody talks about Trump's temperament to be president, whatever it may be, but Hillary Clinton is, and if you go back to the ban bossy thing, before the I'm with her, before the, staying with Hillary, before all that other garbage, they were trying to preempt the nature of her character, which is that she's obnoxious and bitchy. So they wanted to have ban bossy.
She's far worse than that. She is, and I wrote an article that's going to be published this morning. The Democrats and Maggie Hassan, they slam Ayotte every time Trump says something stupid, which tends to be a little bit often, but whatever. He's just saying it.
Right.
Hillary Clinton, her actions have actually done things to hurt this country. Her insecure emails, illegal email server on a private server, put this entire country at risk. It put other countries at risk. Oh, no, but Trump said something, so, oh, my God, it's Ayotte's fault.
And between Hillary and Barry, they have destroyed at least 3 nations in the Middle East. Now, make that 4. They've destroyed Iraq by getting out too soon. They've destroyed Syria by deciding Assad must go with no credible alternative. They've destroyed Libya totally. They've screwed up Egypt. They've destroyed Yemen. And they're in the process of destroying Afghanistan while managing to lose lots of American lives in the process.
Yeah. But none of that matters. None of that matters. Trump said something.
I was trying to listen to Rush on the way up here, and he was talking about how the story of the news cycle yesterday was how Donald Trump thought he saw a video about $400 million going to Iran in exchange for hostages. And the story isn't that we sent $400 million to Iran for hostages, or that they had to launder it through European currency to get it there, or that it was on a plane that landed in the dark of night, or that we actually paid ransom, even though they're all denying it, but it's all been organized, arranged, blah, 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 blah. I mean, we freed up assets. Why did we free them up, convert them into cash, and put them on a plane and fly them into Iran in the middle of the night? That's not the story. The story is Donald Trump thought he saw a video, but there's no video. But there is a video, because we posted the video, because Iran made one.
Okay, but so how did Obama get this cash when Congress are the only people who can provide cash?
He's got a petty cash drawer, I guess.
Of $400 million?
No, that's probably a couple billion. I mean, look, how much did he get from BP? Where did that money go?
$20 billion.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of spare cash.
He was looking for somebody's ass to kick.
Nobody cares if he just throws money around that he's not entitled to. They're not going to stop him. That's the whole problem with the Hillary-Trump debate. We talk about it. We talked about it before the show. It's one of those who's worse scenarios.
It's not lesser of two evils. It's really, really just who's more evil than the next.
I'll take Trump over Hillary any day at this point.
Hillary's dangerous. Hillary will have a free ride. Hillary will get media support. Hillary won't be stopped by Congress. We cannot say the same of Trump. So, and Gary Johnson isn't going to win a single electoral vote in any state, no matter how many people vote for him.
Tank's gonna.
Tank's gonna.
Tank's gonna.
Tank's gonna win.
Tank's gonna win.
Tank's gonna win. Bully for president.
Tank?
My dog, my bulldog. He's
Oh,
running
okay.
for president.
You didn't know that?
You didn't know that?
No. Oh,
He's
excellent.
got his own Facebook page and everything.
Excellent.
You've got to support the English bulldog.
Well, yes, of course. For President of London or Prime Minister or...
President of the U.S. Well, the sweet meteor of death has let me down and is not coming.
King in waiting because Charles isn't fit.
My puppy's going to be on the cabinet, so that's a good deal. I got an inside track. I know people. Anyway, so you wanted to talk about something, wasn't that?
Well, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about, was how they keep slamming Ayotte for stuff Trump says, but in the meantime, all this horrible actions of Hillary throughout her entire career. I mean, this woman has been corrupt in every political position she's held, whether it was First Lady of Arkansas, First Lady of the U.S. I mean, she was the First Lady in history to ever be subpoenaed by a grand jury.
About the only thing she wasn't was First Lady of the Night. Her job was to suppress the bimbo eruptions.
But and then all the other things, FBI gate, Travelgate, the list goes
Rose
on
Law
and
Firm.
on. The list goes on and on.
And the deaths. Never forget the deaths.
Well,
there was another one this week.
Two this week. I heard.
Oh, there was the Nathan Rich or Nate Rich or whatever he was. Seth
Rich, I think.
Seth Rich of the DNC, and there was the guy who served a corruption or voter fraud suit against the DNC, mysteriously found dead in his bathroom in Florida.
So
then there was John Ash, whose throat got crushed by his own exercise equipment.
Yeah. So my point is there's all this history of her actual actions, but yet Trump says something and they flip out. And then media doesn't cover it. This is what
because
kills
the media,
me.
the media is palinizing Trump. Everything is going to be about how horrible Trump is because Hillary's worse. And the only way she can win is if they paint him as more awful than her. And that's just how it's going to be. That's the way it's always been. The question is whether or not people are going to notice.
I don't know. You know what? The mainstream media is so bad. I was just, like I said, I wrote about this, and there's been over $7 million spent in opposition to Ayotte in this election so far in 2016. Only $2 million spent in opposition against Hassan. That's huge. Yeah, they're trying to blame Trump for her Ayotte's falling poll numbers, but in reality, it's probably those ads. Oh, and by the way, Maggie Hassan got her payback for supporting out-of-state gun control groups. They spent $1.4 million opposing Kelly Ayotte, Mark Kelly's group. Isn't that sweet? She finally got her payoff for screwing over granite staters and supporting out-of-state gun control.
Well, you know what? Personally, I thank all those Democrats for working to bring down Kelly Ayotte because enough voters are going to stay home that she's going to lose anyway. Folks,
remember, she's 10 pints behind.
10 pints behind?
Yes.
It only takes 8 pints to kill her.
Well,
then...
It was on Facebook. The headline from the Concord Monitor was
10 pints behind.
Ayotte 10 pints. Kelly Ayotte 10 pints down. Pints. They put pints instead of points.
So, yeah.
I said, shouldn't it say Kelly Ayotte down 10 pints?
It really, at this point, what difference does it make?
At this point, what difference does it make?
It sounds like Dracula's been bleeding the life out of her campaign.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said, well, Maggie Hassan is a bloodsucker. Well, the other thing I wrote about this week, too, was our friend Jeannie Forrester. How she, and I have more to write about on her, too, how she claims she has a new ad and it says, since when did Republicans support Obamacare? I don't know, since 2014 when you first voted it in? Mm-hmm. People really don't know she voted for it. They think they only voted against it this past session. She's the one who helped put that into place in New Hampshire. And voters don't know that. They're like, no, sir, that's not true. Here's her vote. General Court Records. Here's the vote. Project Vote Smart. There's the vote. I mean, how can you make these claims with a straight face, knowing you voted for it and you put it into place in the first place?
Yeah,
Jeannie Forrester helped build that.
Knowing full well that it was never going away.
Oh, so anybody with half a brain knew it wasn't going to go away, even though they said it would.
Keep reminding me. I must get John Stephen on here. John, if you're out there and feel like phoning in, phone in. John has had to help states do business with Medicaid for a long, long time. It's his line of business. Whether it's getting the waivers you need to maximize your state's freedom to operate under Medicaid, or whether it's fighting off the depredations of Medicaid expansion. And as I think it's the new governor of Kentucky is finding out to his cost, once it's been enacted under a previous administration, it's almost impossible to disentangle yourself. So, this is nasty stuff. What our state Republicans did to us in the guise of less harm than the Democrats' own bill would have done is just beyond the pale. You know that when all of the Democrats and only half of the Republicans voted for the Republican bill, you know you've been sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Jeannie helped sell you out, folks. Don't ever forget it.
Yep, exactly. And like I said, I'm gonna write something else up on Granite Rock because she actually has a fundraising thing that says Jeannie Forrester is the only candidate to do XYZ. That's like for the Second Amendment. All these other things. That's BS. Absolute BS. She got a rating of like 30% from New Hampshire Firearms Coalition last year. So
isn't that Jeannie fast and loose with a gun?
Yeah, the teacupper. The person who doesn't actually quite know how to shoot a gun properly. So, this is, and I also wrote something about Ted Gatzis because he's also lying about his stance on Common Core. All these people are lying, but no one ever hears that. They just ever hear, oh, he's against Common Core. Oh, my gosh. He didn't fight for it, against it.
It's like Chris Sununu, who said all the right things. Yeah, I was almost fooled when he first came out and he announced and he said good things in his press interview and so on and so forth, and having a vested interest in constraining Obamacare because he's a CEO, having a vested interest in constraining Common Core because he's a dad with kids in the system, and all that stuff. And as soon as his vote gets put to the test as a current member of the Executive Council, he undoes the only good thing he did last year.
Yeah. He likes corporate welfare. But you know what the thing about Sununu is, what the hell experience does he have to be a governor? I'm sorry, running a ski resort is not it. He's been on Executive Council, that's it. He's never been in the Senate. He's never been in the House. He's never done anything to actually prove he has executive experience.
His name is Sununu.
But are you saying, in contradiction to what this election cycle seems to be saying, that being an outsider, even if it's a CEO, is not a qualification to be an executive, such as a governor?
It doesn't mean you're a leader, is what I'm saying. Just because you are an executive doesn't mean you're a leader, and I'd rather see someone who was a former governor,
especially since
president.
he may have been just like appointed to that.
It was my preference too, was to see a former governor.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it doesn't make you a leader.
No. I personally liked Perry the most.
I liked Walker.
Yeah, I liked Walker, but he had some issues, mostly in the number of Rhino consultants he hired to.
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
To run his campaign into the ground.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what happened. But no, so that's what I'm saying. When you compare him to all the other candidates, is what I'm saying.
Yep.
In reality, it would be nice if at least he had that experience in the House, because you have to know how to work with those people. All he had to do was figure out how to give the governor what she wanted, which he pretty much did. So, that's not a real tough job unless you have balls.
We have Democrats for that. We don't need
Right, exactly. There's only, two executive counselors one executive counselor that always will stand up for what's right and stand up for the actual people of New Hampshire as opposed to the rest of them.
And that's Joe Kenney, right?
Joe Kenney and no.
It's not Joe Kenney. It's I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Not Danielson.
I just wrote about him.
Oh,
Dave Wheeler.
Dave Wheeler.
Thank you, Dave Wheeler. There's two I always get mixed up. Dave Wheeler's always the one who stands up for the people of New Hampshire. Always.
Did you listen to the remember the Wyndham GOP debate? I broke it up into little segments. I've been posting the audio. That's all up on graniterock.com if you want to hear it. But Sununu was defending his vote on some education funding thing and a Common Core and da-da-da-da-da. And he tries to make a pretty reasonable argument about the circumstances and so on and so forth. And I think it was Abel who came out and said, but two other Republicans voted against it.
Yeah.
With the same knowledge and coming into it the same way.
Yep.
So, why didn't you? And that's really what it comes down to. Okay, yeah, you make this excellent argument for why you felt like you were put into this corner. Those other two executive counselors didn't feel that way. They're Republicans too. So,
Sounds like Frank's making a good argument for himself. I like it a lot.
He's definitely scooping up the base.
If you're in southern New Hampshire and you haven't met Frank yet, we're having him at our house on Thursday, the 19th, if I've got my dates right.
But yeah, to be like I said, when I've
18th.
been going through, I just wrote about Ted Gass's big huge BS about Common Core, Jeannie Forrester's BS about Medicaid expansion, and Chris Sununu, he's just all BS. So if you look at the candidates, and this is what I say all the time, don't listen to a word they tell you. Look it up. There's Project Vote Smart, there's Ballotopedia, there's their own general court voting records. You can find executive counselors' voting records online. It's not real easy, but you can find it.
And Frank Edelblatt's been in the House. So
yes, he has a voting record too. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You can find all their voting records.
And while we're talking about voting records, let's not forget Congressional District 2, where you have the voting records of a former and a current House member. That would be Jim Lawrence and Jack Flanagan. And you can see which one is pretty damn conservative and which one's damn nearly a Democrat.
Jack will be on the show, by the way, on the 20th.
I think I might have to come in. Can I?
Is Skip coming in for that? I think he said
he's on standby. I may not be able to be here because my aunt's coming up for my
that's
birthday.
Right.
And depending on when she's going to be here will depend on whether or not I will be here. If I can't get home in time for when she arrives, then I won't come in.
I am fairly sure I'll be here, and so if Skip comes in, we'll make it all.
Skip says he will come in if I can't be here, so we'll have people butts in the seats and what have you. But
you guys have to do all the technical stuff.
You just sit and talk.
I just be mouthy.
All right.
Yeah, you can be pretty and troublesome. That's fine.
Wear your little crown. All right, we're going to take a little break. I'm going to call Aaron, and we'll be right back to talk about.
And I'll be in trouble for being non-PC
stuff. Hang on.
Rock Talk.